the hum of the engines was gone. A chilling silence descended upon the cockpit of Air Transat Flight 236. Captain Robert Peache and First Officer Dirk de Jager exchanged glances, their faces etched with concern. The impossible had happened. Both engines had flamed out, leaving the Airbus A330 completely devoid of power. Outside, the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean stretched endlessly below, offering no solace, no hope of a quick landing. They were over 30,000 feet in the air, gliding silently towards an unknown fate. The date was August 24, 2001. Flight TS-236, with 306 souls on board, had been a routine red-eye from Toronto, Canada, en route to Lisbon, Portugal. Now, high above the unforgiving Atlantic, it was a hurtling metal bird with its wings clipped, transforming from a symbol of human ingenuity into a potential harbinger of tragedy. The silence in the cockpit was deafening, broken only by the frantic beeping of warning alarms and the murmur of prayers whispered by the passengers, their fate hanging precariously in the balance. Just hours earlier, the atmosphere aboard Flight 236 had been one of anticipation and excitement. Passengers were settling into their seats, stowing away their carry-ons and chatting with their travel companions. The air was filled with a sense of adventure and the promise of new experiences. Tourists eagerly looked forward to exploring the historical streets of Lisbon, their minds filled with images of sun-drenched beaches and ancient castles. They envisioned themselves wandering through cobblestone alleys, tasting local delicacies, and soaking up the rich culture and history of Portugal. Families returning home after long journeys chatted excitedly, their conversations punctuated by the laughter of children. The joy of reuniting with loved ones and sharing stories of their travels created a warm and lively atmosphere on board. The Airbus A330, a marvel of modern aviation, had soared effortlessly into the night sky, its powerful engines a reassuring hum against the backdrop of the star-studded sky. The aircraft's sleek design and advanced technology made it a favorite among both passengers and crew. Captain Peache, a veteran pilot with thousands of hours of flying experience, had commanded the flight with his characteristic calm and composure. His steady hand and confident demeanor were a source of comfort to everyone on board. His first officer, Dirk de Jager, though less experienced, shared his captain's dedication to safety and precision. Together they formed a formidable team, each complementing the other's skills and knowledge. The flight attendants, a cheerful and efficient group, had ensured the comfort of the passengers, their smiles masking the inherent pressures of their job. They moved through the cabin with practiced ease, attending to every need and request. It was in every sense a routine transatlantic flight, until it wasn't. The journey had been smooth, the passengers relaxed, and the crew vigilant, all unaware of the challenges that lay ahead. The first sign of trouble came not with a bang, but with a subtle fluctuation in the fuel pressure gauge. It was a small, almost imperceptible change, but one that would soon escalate into a critical situation. Initially dismissed as a minor instrument malfunction, the flickering needle would soon become a harbinger of the ordeal that lay ahead, a stark reminder that even in the age of sophisticated technology, the unforgiving laws of physics still held sway. The crew would need to rely on their training, experience, and teamwork to navigate the challenges that were about to unfold. As the flight progressed smoothly over the dark expanse of the Atlantic Ocean, the passengers were blissfully unaware of the unfolding drama. A seemingly insignificant problem began to emerge, a discrepancy in the fuel readings. The pilots, seasoned and vigilant, were quick to notice the anomaly. The amount of fuel in the right wing tank was lower than expected, raising concerns about the accuracy of the readings. The readings from the fuel quantity indication system, responsible for monitoring fuel levels, seemed inconsistent, adding to the pilots' confusion. Initially, they attributed this to a possible gauge malfunction, a relatively common occurrence in aviation. They decided to monitor the situation closely. Unbeknownst to the pilots, the root cause of the discrepancy was far more serious, a slow but steady fuel leak in the right engine, caused by a hydraulic leak that had gone unnoticed during routine maintenance. This oversight would soon prove to be critical. The leaking hydraulic fluid had eroded a fuel line, creating a small but persistent leak. This tiny flaw was now threatening the safety of everyone on board. As the flight wore on, the leak worsened, slowly draining the aircraft of its precious fuel reserves. The situation was becoming increasingly dire. What began as a trickle soon turned into a steady stream, a silent but relentless threat. The fuel quantity indication system, designed to alert pilots to significant fuel imbalances, was not configured to detect a slow leak of this nature. It continued to display normal readings, lulling the pilots into a false sense of security. The pilots, relying on their instruments, believed everything was under control. They had no reason to suspect the true nature of the problem. The situation was becoming critical, and time was running out. The pilots' growing concern was palpable as they tried to make sense of the conflicting information. The fate of Flight 236 was precariously balanced on a knife edge as the silent leak continued unabated, slowly pushing the aircraft towards the brink of disaster. The clock was ticking, and every passing moment brought them closer to a potential catastrophe. The first jolt was unmistakable. It was a sudden violent shudder that sent a ripple of unease through the entire aircraft. A sudden loss of power in the right engine shattered the illusion of normalcy. The once smooth flight was now a battle against the elements. The Airbus A330 shuddered, its sleek fuselage vibrating with the sudden imbalance of power. Passengers gripped their armrests, eyes wide with fear. Alarms blared through the cockpit, their insistent warnings cutting through the stunned silence. The pilots knew they had to act fast. The pilots reacted instantly, their training kicking in as they worked through the emergency checklist. Every second counted in this high-stakes situation. Their immediate priority was to restart the engine and regain control of the aircraft. They followed the procedures meticulously, hoping for a miracle. As they struggled to restart the right engine, the gravity of their situation became terrifyingly clear. The aircraft was losing altitude rapidly. The fuel leak, unnoticed until this point, had been far more severe than they initially thought. It was a race against time and dwindling resources. The right engine, starved of fuel, sputtered and died. The pilots' hearts sank as they realized the full extent of their predicament. Moments later, the left engine, drawing fuel from the same leaking tank, also flamed out. The aircraft was now completely powerless. At 30,000 feet above the Atlantic, Air Transat Flight 236 was a glider, the largest passenger aircraft in the world, to face such a terrifying predicament. The vast ocean below seemed both beautiful and menacing. The silence, once a source of comfort, was now deafening, a constant reminder of their precarious situation. Every creak and groan of the aircraft was amplified in the stillness. Panic threatened to rise in the cabin as the plane began to descend, the unsettling silence punctuated by the gasps and murmurs of the passengers. Fear was palpable in the air. The fate of 306 souls rested on the shoulders of Captain Piche and First Officer de Jager as they fought to maintain control of their stricken aircraft. Their determination and skill would be tested like never before. Hey everyone, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of our new videos. Let's get started. Subscribing is super simple. Just click the red button below. All done? Awesome. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and tell your friends. See you in the next one. Bye.